What is up, Insaners, and welcome to another exciting video where we're gonna talk about some of the best picks to target for Game Week 32, including some Spurs assets who have a double game week this week. Now, we'll also talk about the best captain picks for this double game week. So, lots of stuff coming up in this video, guys. If you like what you see, please leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all the good FPL stuff. Now, before we get into the meaty stuff, guys, let's just quickly see how we did in Game Week 31. We were on our wildcard this week and we were able to manage 54 points. So we started the week around the 79k mark and we were on our wildcard. And to be very honest, not the best advantage that we could have hoped for. Guys, we went into the week with some moderately template players and obviously some differentials. There were a couple of moves that paid off, but with 15 points on the bench, we could have definitely done a lot better. Now our rank is still within the 100k mark and we're still doing pretty well, but we obviously want to push towards the 50k mark and even better in the coming game weeks. Now when you look at this team, most of the defense didn't do well. The Chelsea double up in defense was a bit tricky, and obviously when they're not kept a clean sheet, we lost those clean sheet points. Guys, Mendy and Rudiger were very important picks for us, and it was frustrating for Crystal Palace to score, and it was a hard watch to be very honest. Now Liverpool also conceded against Aston Villa, and in fact guys, we were on our stream discussing about getting Trent in our team. I made a lot of drafts with Trent in it, but I just felt the balance of the team wasn't there, and it was just not right, guys. At the end of it, we went with Phillips, and obviously we just got 2 points for not keeping that clean sheet, and Trent scored a good double-digit haul. Now another tricky decision in defense that I was thinking of was whether to play Shaw or Holding. Obviously we still can't trust the Arsenal defense, though Sheffield United was still a better match as compared to other opponents. But I still felt the upside with Shaw was there, and it was a risk worth taking. Now Shaw just gave us 1 point, and Holding got those 8 points with that clean sheet and bonus points. Guys, it is a bit frustrating to see, especially when Holding has such low ownership, and we could have gained a lot more than this. Now coming to our midfield, and you see a glaring name in the midfield, Raheem Sterling as our captain pick. Now guys, it was always a risk that we were taking, and we could have gone with the safer pick in Salah, who returned with 7 points. We could have got those 14 points, but we've decided to take some risk and move towards the 10k mark. So there would be these kind of moves that we will be doing from now till the end of the season. It was actually a surprising performance from Leeds, who went down to 10 men and still played that well. Sterling obviously could have scored, but didn't return in this game, and he's going out this week from our team. Now if I look at a couple of players who were in my original team, I had Dallas in my team, and he had that mega haul. This was also one of the things that was a bit disappointing this week, because when Diaz and a couple of other players didn't play, they would be having Dallas coming from their bench, and we lost out here. A couple of more picks in our overall team worth mentioning this week were Lingard and Iheanacho. Now a lot of people were not really fancying Lingard, and they were saying that Antonio might not play, Lingard might not do well, but he still did well. He got those 14 points. He's defying stats this season, guys. Whatever XG numbers all the statistical models are pulling up, he's just smashing all of those, and he's definitely a great pick still. I think he's still just owned by around 25%, but that percentage is gonna go a lot higher this week. Now coming to our last pick, Iheanacho, another punt that we took this week. It was not really a punt to be honest, because if I'm considering any forward from Leicester, it has to be Iheanacho. I think Vardy at that price is not really worth it, and having Iheanacho in my team gives me a lot of options and a lot of funds to invest either in midfield, attack or defense. His ownership is also around 10% right now, and that's gonna be a lot higher this week. Now guys, if Tottenham didn't have a double game week in game week 32, he would have definitely been a great option for captaincy this week. So overall, I think I can't feel too bad about my team this week. Obviously, I could have done a lot better, but I'm still doing pretty decent, and my team is well set up for next week. Now guys, before we look at some players for game week 32, some players to watch out for, let's look at the fixtures and the ones that we will be targeting this week. Now guys, we start this week with Everton playing Spurs in the first game. Now Everton are in 8th place right now, 7 points behind West Ham. Their form has been a mixed bag so far. Now guys, I still don't think that they are out of the top 4 race this season, but they'll still have to be on the top of their game if they want to reach there. Spurs are in 7th place right now, 6 points behind West Ham. They didn't have the greatest of games last time against Man United, and Mourinho would be under a lot of pressure to get that win. I feel it's a must-win game for both teams, and it'll be a great watch. Next we have Newcastle versus West Ham. Newcastle's attacking stats have improved a lot. They are 6 points clear of Fulham, having played a game less. Now guys, I still think West Ham would be favourites for this game, but with Wilson, Saint-Maximin and a couple of other players returning for Newcastle, it could still be a tighter affair. West Ham, on the other hand, are flying high. Guys, it will be great to see them in the Champions League, and they are in fact one of the favorite teams to reach that top 4 place. Now, West Ham is missing a couple of important players, but after seeing that performance against Leicester, I don't think so they'll be in trouble. Next, we come to Wolves versus Sheffield United, and to be honest, it's not really a great clash. I'm saying this because Wolves don't really have anything to play for. They're not going to reach Europe, and they're not even going to get relegated, so I'm not really sure what to make out of this game. Now, Sheffield United, the worst defense in the league right now. No clean sheets in the last 5 games. They've conceded 12 goals, so things are not looking pretty. And guys, the worst part is that the loss should confirm their exit from the Premier League. They will be relegated if they lose this game. So Wolves still might have that motivation to be the team who relegates them from the Premier League. Now, Arsenal versus Fulham is going to be an interesting one. Arsenal looked really good in the last game against Sheffield United. They ended their bad run in the Premier League. Now, who plays in terms of the Arsenal lineup is still a bit questionable considering that they have that important Europa League game midweek. I still don't know what to make of the Arsenal team. The defense might keep a clean sheet, their attackers might have an off day or might be really good on that day, so we'll see how it goes. Now, for Fulham, it's looking a lot more trickier, guys. They're 6 points behind Newcastle and they have played their extra game, so that's gonna hurt. Their form is not good, they're losing a lot of games, and it's looking tricky for Fulham to beat the relegation drop. Then we come to Man United versus Burnley. I think second place looks pretty much confirmed for Man United. Now we can expect some rotation considering they also have a Europa League game midweek. A few players like Scott McTominay, Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire are not available in that game, so expect these guys to start against Burnley. It'll also be interesting to see how Burnley approach this game because they've not really sat back deep and defended this season. They've attacked teams when they could, and Burnley look a lot more attacking this season. Next we come to Leeds versus Liverpool. I think it'll be a game that a lot of neutrals will be looking forward to this week. I'm expecting a good game. Now, Liverpool defense has got a lot better. I still won't say that they have a very good defense, but they've at least sorted out the back two in terms of the centre-back pairing. And I think with Fabinho playing in midfield, things could look a lot better. Obviously, they also have that Champions League game against Real Madrid, and they would definitely try to win that one, but I still feel it's a long ask. I'm sure Liverpool will consider this game as a must-win if they want to reach the top 4 spot. Now for Leeds also it'll be an interesting game because they would want to get closer to teams who are fighting for the top 4. I think top 6 or top 8 is still a bit tough, but I still think they would want to win this game. Guys, next we have Chelsea versus Brighton. Now both good defenses. Chelsea's attack especially looked good against Crystal Palace. Now I've not seen them scoring these many goals in a lot of games, so that was a bit refreshing to see. Brighton on the other hand, they don't concede a lot of goals, they have a tight defense, they also play expansive style of football, so it'll be a great watch. Now I don't think so any team is going to sit back, and with both teams attacking, it'll be an interesting spectacle. Then we have Tottenham's second game, and this time it's against Southampton. Now Spurs would want to get back to winning ways, and it's been difficult for Southampton because they don't look like a team that will go down this season, but they're nowhere close to the top half of the table. Obviously they would want to get further away from those relegation spots, but I think it'll be a tough game for the Saints. Our second last game this week is Aston Villa versus Man City. Now Villa could throw in a few surprises because again you don't really know what to expect from Aston Villa. I'm really hoping Jack Grealish plays this week, but I think it's again going to be very difficult. Now with Jack Grealish in the team, Villa look like a different animal. But guys, without the Aston Villa midfielder, they're still struggling to create chances and get those goals. I think we can also expect a lot of rotation from the Man City midfielders, and I think it'll be a dreadful watch for their owners. Guys, we're definitely going to give it a try in our Beating the Pep section this week, but I think it's a very risky game to play the Pep roulette. You really don't know what Pep's going to do, and it's going to be a difficult game. Now we end the game with Leicester versus West Brom, a great attacking team playing the leakiest defense in the Premier League this season, though West Brom have improved in terms of their defensive numbers in the past few weeks, but they still are very leaky at the back. Leicester with Iheanacho in that great form, I think this could be a game that a lot of FPL managers could target this week. Now guys, let's discuss the most popular topic this week, who and how many Tottenham players to pick for Game Week 32. Now guys, most of you would have Kane or Son, or even a combination of the two, but if you want to scout elsewhere and look at some other options, there are a couple of names that you can go for. Now the first name is the keeper Hugo Lloris. He's an option if you want to take advantage of the double game week for Tottenham, but I think the defense hasn't been that great. Like Lloris is the 5th highest scoring keeper this season, but I personally think that his price is a bit high. And I don't like to spend a lot of money on keepers as there's no huge upside. He's only kept 1 clean sheet in the last 5 games, so that is a bit worrying. And when you see his saves count right, it's not pretty high. He's only made 10 saves for the last 5 game weeks. That's an average 2 per week, so nothing great there. Now second, the only option in defense is Sergio Reguilon. He's probably the only one right now who's free of any rotation risk. Now, Mourinho has been changing his defenders quite regularly this season, and we've seen the likes of Aurier, Alderweireld, Rodon, Sanchez, and Tanganga all feature in some capacity, but I think you really can't trust any of them. Not that Reguilon has shown enough to get a place in our fantasy 11 team, so his numbers in the last 5 game weeks are pretty average, only 5 points across this while. That is not promising, but there's surely some creative attacking threat from the fullback. Also, if given an option between Lloris and Reguilon, I would definitely go for Reguilon considering the upside with him will be a lot higher. One thing you should note before going for any of them is that both of them have a blank game week in game week 33. So you'll have to think of replacements or make sure that you have a strong bench to cover for them that week. Coming to the most obvious section here, now 2 picks that are absolutely certain, and I'm not really going to talk a lot about them, are Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. I genuinely feel they are must-haves for this game week. Get them in your team if you don't have them. Kane is slightly a better option to be frank. His ownership is a bit higher than Son at the moment, but I think that could have been because of Son's injury. Now over the last 5 game weeks guys, Kane has had 22 attempts on goal as compared to Son's 6. All his other stats in terms of goals, assists, expected goals and expected assists are way more than the South Korean, and if you want to go for only one out of these two, Kane would definitely be my pick. Yes, Spurs are important for this game week, but then there's some other players and options who have standout fixtures. Our first pick here in this list is Jesse Lingard. He's been absolutely sensational. I mean, there's just no reason why you should not get him in your team this week. He's returning big in every game that he plays. Now this week he's facing Newcastle, who have improved defensively guys, but West Ham would be favourites for this one, no doubt about that. Lingard's price is an absolute joke. No, seriously, you should get him in, full stop. Another very popular pick that we've gone for this week is Iheanacho from Leicester. Now he's facing West Brom and this could be a great week for the Foxes forward. His price is dirt cheap for his attacking stats that he's posting. He's got 41 points in the last 5 game weeks, shooting 14 times out of which 6 were goals, so that's an impressive tally. He's also created 6 chances and looks like a steal at this price. So now coming to a set of picks that might be a bit controversial, but yes, we've included Wolves in this section. I'm personally still not very confident about Wolves, whether it's their defense or attack. Now having said that, there are a couple of value options that you can go for. Rui Patricio and Cody in defense are 2 picks that you can look at. Guys, Wolves kept a clean sheet against Fulham in a pretty average game. Now the fixtures are kind, no doubt about that, and both could be decent differentials against Sheffield United this week. The Blades in general don't score a lot, and if I have to get a player from Wolves, I think it'll be Cody with the additional attacking threat from set pieces. To be very fair, I was not very hopeful for any Wolves attacker, and with the injury to Neto now, I'm even more confident that without him they'll struggle. The only other player who can make the cut but is nowhere a great option is Adama Traore. With Neto's injury, I think he could be the only one with some attacking potential. His injury time winner did give Wolves a win, but honestly I'm not very confident about him. So guys, these were some options for you to pick from for game week 32. Now let's look at some good captaincy options for this week. So this week is a lot better than last week in terms of captaincy. You have the obvious Spurs options. Both options are there with Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. Kane would be the more popular pick and the more obvious choice, but if someone's doing catch-up, I think Son looks good. Now it's not always that players with a double game week are the best captaincy options, and then there is Bruno Fernandes against Burnley, who's the third safest option this week. He's only returned twice in his last 6 matches, but then there's still good potential against a pretty open Burnley side who just don't sit back and defend deep anymore. Guys, there are also some alternate options as well in case you're okay taking a few chances. Now Liverpool versus Leeds could be an exciting game to watch, with both teams really attacking and not with the best of defenses. That means great news for Salah and Jota owners. I expect both to be heavily involved in case Liverpool do well. Now I'll still fancy Salah over Jota. He's probably more likely to start, but then Jota's presence has been so positive guys. Klopp might favour benching either Mane or Firmino, or even change their formation to accommodate all of them. Guys, another player that you can look at this week is Lingard against the Newcastle side, who are definitely not the greatest in defense. Lingard's form has been unreal guys, and I won't be surprised if he gets another double-digit haul this game week. At last guys, we come to some brilliant one-week punts and fun picks. In case you're feeling extra spicy, you can go for the likes of Iheanacho, Adama Traore, or even Mason Greenwood. All of them have a great fixture this week. I really like Iheanacho against leaky West Brom defense. Mason Greenwood also looks good, but I would be concerned about his minutes in the midweek Europa League game. Now if he starts and plays the entire game, I really doubt he would start against Burnley. So I would definitely take note of United's lineup before getting him in this week and giving him the armband. So that'll be all for this video guys. We will be back with another video on Thursday talking about what to do with Man City players along with our team selection for Game Week 32. We'll also be doing a deadline stream just an hour before the deadline, so make sure you join us for that. Last time was a lot of fun and I'm sure we'll enjoy it this time as well. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button if you liked today's video. Please do subscribe, guys. Do subscribe to our channel Insanely Football if you're new around here. Thank you so much if you've stayed with me till this long. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you Insaners next time.